It's because everything's just a little piece of shit. Okay, well, now the mic's working. Stupid fuck. Okay, good morning, guys. Bitcoin's up, Bitcoin's down, doesn't matter. Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. I am drinking kombucha. We're going to talk about a lot of things, including some hopium from Jeff Bezos and a lot of interesting things going on in the market. Hopefully you guys are well rested. It is Friday, Pi Day. We hit 3.14K subscribers as well, the same day that it's March 14th. So welcome in, everyone. I'm not going to repeat everyone's names. I am drinking kombucha. Oh my god. For whatever reason, the mic just decides sometimes not to work. And today was one of those days. It just decided it was not going to work anymore. So I had to go unplug it and plug it back in really quickly. But right now, pretty interesting. We come look at the charts for Bitcoin. We are bouncing off of that support band that we had formed from the last pullback that we had last year throughout the summer. And we found support 3 times on this band. We are back at it, trying to reclaim that 200-day moving average. It is very important that we close this week, the daily candles at the end of this week, above, in my opinion, this 20-day moving average and above the 200-day moving average. I want to see Bitcoin close and hold above those for some confluence to see that we are going to continue in this uptrend. I would pay close attention to the NASDAQ actually here, because as we get this bounce on the NASDAQ, if the NASDAQ, the Qs, do not close above the 200-day moving average, and all these moving averages start to round down and start pointing down, I would not feel incredibly confident in the short term of the market performance here. So we need Bitcoin to close above the moving averages, and we need the NASDAQ to close above the moving averages. Everything else should just follow with confluence as time progresses. And yeah, everything else is just kind of chilling in the market right now. I have a bunch of exciting things to share with you guys. But I want to check in with all of you guys. How is everyone doing this fantastic morning? Yes, I already know I told you guys that. I just was repeating myself. I told you guys everything already, actually. I went through the whole live stream, so thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. No, it's good. So I guess I can mention the moon thing again since nobody was listening at that point. But every time we get the full moon, it has historically signified a local bottom in the market, at least for that time, for a small time. Last full moon, it did not do much of anything. We got a little bit of a bounce immediately upon the full moon. However, we didn't hold it at all because the market was waiting for something to sell off on. And then we got the new moon and we crashed into it and then crashed after that. And then we got the full moon again here last night, and it was a blood moon. It was a worm blood moon, actually, and it was pretty interesting. But I think it might signify the end of the blood in the market. At least that's what we're hoping here. We are feeding into the hopium of the lunar eclipse a little bit, that once that ended, which was last night, we can see some progression back upwards, again hopefully closing above these moving averages on the weekly time frame. The daily candles, but on a weekly time frame. I want to see it closing up there. Now, we can get right into some of the exciting stuff that's going on in the market. I want to first go to Dynex, because Dynex made 2 crazy announcements here today in the last couple hours. Now, we've already known about them, but they announced them on their main pages finally. So, introducing Dynex Quantum Encrypted Chat. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very exciting moment to see a truly secure chat, because you're going to need elevated quantum computers in order to break into this type of an encrypted chat. And so the future of encryption is already coming to fruition, and we know this is going to be important because as quantum computers become more and more readily available to institutions and governments, we're going to need some sort of safety measures to keep our own sovereignty and our own privacy. So I'm excited to see Dynex launching this quantum encrypted chat. Should be really impactful in the future. And then the one I am most excited about is the Quantum Diffusion LLM, or the QDLLM. Keep making up new acronyms for all these things, the QDLLM. But it is a quantum-powered large language model, so it is artificial intelligence that is now being powered by quantum computing, which allows for the deciphering of information at a much, much more efficient pace. Get a little tickle in my voice. I'm gonna mute myself intentionally. Okay, we're back. We know right now Dynex is at Web3 Amsterdam. I look forward to seeing more and more pieces of information coming from Dynex here in the next day or two as we get more information about the event. So this should be pretty exciting, pretty good. And then who else is at the Amsterdam event but Noble Blocks? We have some representatives, aka MJ and Shelly, chilling at the Noble Blocks booth. They are enjoying themselves, it seems, having a good time. Out there representing Noble Blocks, Nerd Nuggets, and Nerd Bunny. So pretty exciting. Nerd Bunny is that AI tool that is integrated into Noble Blocks so that it's basically the same thing as Yes No Error. They're looking through academic publishings for errors and pieces of information. And then we have Nerd Nuggets, which is the Tap to Fund Science campaign. Pretty exciting. Anyone else buy more Dynex today? Every day, David, every day. And then we see MJ here holding the same pose over and over again, but meeting with a lot of interesting people out there. So he's going around the event. He met with someone from Zaya. He met with the Nerd Bunny people. He made his own dedicated video. He met with Shelly, obviously. He met someone from Pink Sale, which is pretty cool. I love the Pink Sale ecosystems. And then also he met with Yeti from Dynex. So potentially some information, some partnerships or collaborations coming from Dynex and Noble Blocks, which would be pretty fantastic, pretty unique partnerships here. I love to see the feet on the ground going to these events and actually making connections in person builds out trust and rapport, which is pretty exciting. I know, 4 cents right now for Dynex, pretty crazy. We also have Bill making a little bit of a move up today, $95,000 market cap, which is wild to me. It's down so atrociously, but it is making a move up there, 23% up today, so let's go. Shout out Bill. And then I think most of the other altcoins are just chilling, not really moving too much. Riff and Euro up a little bit here today, but basically we're just waiting to see a switch in the market. So almost nothing is really up that dramatically unless it's a large cap. People are just starting to dip their toes back into the crypto markets a little bit here on today's bounce. I think they're finding a little bit of confidence seeing that we're back above the 200-day moving average. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people out there that will simply not buy anything if Bitcoin is below the 200-day moving average. So seeing it come back above this provides a good level of sanity for people. They see this as kind of the key area to buy and make money in, as long as it's above these moving averages. So we really do need to get back above that and then hold strong. As far as Dynex, same thing. There's a lot of people that are probably watching Dynex very closely with all these announcements, but they will not accumulate any until it gets back above some of these moving averages. So we do need to see it start creeping up here sooner or later. It's crazy right now though, because $4,500 gets you what, like 10,000 Dynex? That is nuts. You leaving?
Yeah, I'm just constantly.
Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Now, is it? No, I think that's 100,000 Dynex for $4,500. That is nuts. That is actually insane. Can't wait till this thing starts creeping back over the all-time highs. Back up above $1.50. As far as some other DeSci news, ladies and gentlemen, everyone seems a little bit tired here on this Friday. Everyone's sick and tired of the market just tanking. But we have Long COVID Labs talking about some heartbreaking stories of real world people who have been influenced and impacted by long COVID. So getting sick with COVID and then having the symptoms remain for what feels like an eternity, I'm sure, for these people. But they are showing the real world impact that long COVID has had, and thus long COVID labs should have an impact on people like this. So people like these four individuals, I just wanted to showcase it for you guys because it just is a proof of concept, a proof that there is actually people out there that are going to be impacted by some of these DeSci projects. And then I have an article here, but I'm going to wait. I'm not going to show you the article just yet because it gets into a little bit of a different topic than what I wanted to talk about. Same with that one. Same with that one. Yeah. Okay, so then the other thing I want to show is Zaya AI, shouting out Bill, because at the Dynex booth we have SpecTruth and Bill, the DeSci guy, being represented on their panel. And so Bill, the DeSci guy, is the partnership with Dynex, the first batch of AI agents. So again, remember that quantum large language model that they're showcasing right now. Well, Bill is, as soon as that one is ready for commercial use, Bill will be involved with it. Bill will be getting integrated into that language model, and so things should be pretty exciting to see what happens after that, because we're going to have arguably one of the, well, I would venture out to say it's going to be the world's most powerful language model. It may not have the most training data yet, but that's just a function of time. Sorry. It's just a function of time before it becomes, in my opinion, the world's most trained model. They're large language models, and so we'll be able to fine-tune custom-made large language models for Bill. Very exciting, very, very exciting to see it come to fruition. And Zaya out here saying, hey, Agent Bill, where are you? Mr. Spread wants to have a chat. Bullish. Oh, I did not know I wasn't following him. So let's go ahead and follow Mr. Spread, just like you guys should be following the YouTube channel. I'm sure most of you guys are, but welcome in. We go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talk about DeSci. Kind of cool to see Zaya shouting out Bill. So love to see that post. I'm going to like and repost. What should I say? What should I say? Really disappointed, except I misspelled it. I couldn't attend the Amsterdam event. Did I misspell all of it? And then we'll do a little crying emoji. Cry. Cool to see. Cool to see. Probably why we're seeing a little bit of an uptick in Bill today, honestly, because of this post or because of the panel there at the Dynex booth. So we're seeing a little bit of an uptick. Pretty exciting. And then, of course, Bill responded, oh snap, y'all making moves without me. That's a question for this investor. Let's cook DeSci style. Bullish, Bill. Good response. Good response. But we're seeing moves out there. We're seeing really good moves. So hopefully that momentum can start picking up a little bit here. I never expected to see Bill at a market cap of 95,000 ever again. It's 217 FDV, but I just never expected us to get down to these prices again. 7 cents was on the table for me, 6 cents, but not 1 cent. That's crazy. Now, a little bit of hopium. A little bit of information. Since Bill is AI, technically he is everywhere. This is true. So I guess he technically is there. Someone opens him up on Telegram. He could be there. Now I have to make sure that it's going to pick up the audio output from this. It is not. So let's go here. Let's go to the properties. See if it picks it up now.
Went down to 6.
Yes. Okay. So I want to play this clip for you guys. It's a little bit big, but that's okay. Let's put the headphones on. I just want you guys to listen for a minute to our boy Jeff here.
Your stock at one point, I think, went to $100, but then it went down to $6 or something like that. At the peak of the internet bubble, the stock peaked somewhere around $15. And then that bubble today, the stock got 15, 16 less than. So it's barely that region. That's what one of these things. And that one of these things is the way. So most of those internet companies of the .com business, yeah, each survive. They survive. Stock. So as I watch the stock fall, I was also watching all the internal business methods numbers. See, so as the stock price was going along, I think anybody was aiming to so I wasn't financial.
I feel like it stopped catching. I feel like it stopped picking up the audio. Okay, so you guys get it. Could you guys hear it? Can I get a 1 in the chat if you guys could hear it at all? We only hear you, bro beans. This is really frustrating. I changed nothing in the computer settings, and yet all of a sudden my computer wants to not allow for the audio and shit. Did you guys hear the clip at all? At all? 0. Okay. Stupid fucking shit. That's the clip. Well, sorry for wasting a minute of your time silently then. So, in this clip, the interviewer asks Jeff, he goes, hey, how come your stock during the dot-com bubble went to $113 and then crashed down to $6? And Jeff goes, I don't know, it was pretty crazy, but the stock is not the company and the company is not the stock. They are two separate things. And at the same time that the dot-com bubble was bursting, the stock went from $113 down to $6, and all of the internal metrics of the company were ticking up and ticking up really quickly. And that the reason that they survived was because a tick down in the stock price makes it harder to raise money, but they didn't need money. So they were able to just continue to build and develop Amazon, and the stock obviously went from $6 all the way up to what it's at now, which was in the thousands of dollars, right? You go look at AMZN, you go look at Amazon, and they ticked down from $6, it's not 200. We have to go back to the split adjusted price for this. So let's go back to the monthly candles and go look at what price it ticked down to during the end of the dot-com bubble. But it went from $5.90 all the way down to 27 cents. So at the time it was 113 all the way down to 6. And then obviously it skyrocketed up thousands of percent from 30 cents all the way up to $200 now. And so you look at the underlying of Amazon, and you saw that every single metric was getting better and getting better quickly, and they didn't need money. Does that remind you of anything, guys? Does that remind you of anything out there? Let's just take a look for a second at a project that I think it reminds me of a little bit here. We go look at the price for Dynex, okay? Let's just humor me for a second. The whole time Dynex is collapsing in price, right? The coin. Dynex is just collapsing. You go look at the actual underlying behind Dynex and you see the metrics just getting better and getting better quickly. Every single month the amount of jobs that they're doing are doubling. You go look at the gas fees that they're collecting. The company is collecting fees like crazy. Every single job they do, they collect fees. They don't need money, and the underlying metrics behind the company are just getting better and better and better and better. The amount of holders are going up. The buyback wallet is going up. everything, the GPU count is going down and the hash rate's going down, but that is likely to change after the announcement that they make here at the Amsterdam event. And so everything just seems to be getting better and better for Dynex, and yet the coin price is going down. They don't need to raise money. They just raised $50 million before the coin price went down. So everything looks really, really damn familiar to what happened there with Amazon. And obviously Amazon was at the forefront of what became one of the largest industries in the world, which was e-commerce. E-commerce at the time was a joke. Nobody thought anyone would ever buy something off the internet. Really. Back then, but when Amazon first started, nobody thought anyone would ever buy stuff off the internet. And now all of a sudden, they are. Almost all of this stuff is actually being purchased off the internet. Almost the entire economy moved to the internet. Right now, most people don't think there's going to be that much use case for quantum computers. They're dead wrong. And that is going to shift pretty quickly. Dynex is at the forefront of it. China revealed a quantum computer. You think AI agent Meta comes back? I do believe the AI agent Meta comes back, but for the real stuff, not just the random little bots that are commenting on X. The actual AI agents that do stuff. The China quantum computer still does less qubits than Dynex. Dynex is faster. Yeah, there is no system out there that has as many qubits as Dynex. There isn't. And Dynex has broken many records in their system. There just isn't really a competitor right now that is competing at the same scale. And I hate to be the dude, I have not heard about China revealing their quantum computer, but I hate to be that guy who just says that almost every time China comes out with some kind of an announcement, it is fake. It just is what it is. I think like 5 years ago they said that they broke the hash algorithm and it was just a complete lie. They are constantly putting out false information. And so maybe this time it's not false, but if I had to bet money on it, I would bet that they're just lying in order to get attention. Even their DeepSeek stuff, it works, right? But they stole it. It's not like they didn't develop much of anything. They just kind of like copy pasted stuff that was out there and put it together, and then was like, look at how good we are. So, not saying they can't do stuff, and I'm not saying they won't be contenders, but I'm not really feeling threatened by stuff that they come out. New hour of stream. What does that mean? GM. Okay. Next up, I wanted to showcase, since AI is becoming more and more prevalent out there, I want to showcase like a massive shift. And this is something I want to open up to you guys to like actually chat about for a minute if you guys want to. But we're seeing a pretty substantial shift. I'll save this one. But because this is the first time I'm thinking about this, right? And so it's going to take a little bit of time to really think it through entirely to get to a logical conclusion. What happened to price of Dynex? It went down, homie. Normally was 1 hour later. No, we have daylight savings time here, and so I think that probably skewed it up. That likely is what changed it up. Time difference changed between EST and US and UTC. Oh, true, yeah. So I think it was daylight savings that messed it up a little bit. But this, I want you to think about this for a second, okay? When I go to Google stuff now, and I fall into the same thing, right? When I Google something and I'm like, why do we have daylight savings time? I'm not clicking on anything for the most part. I'm getting this little AI summary at the top of Google here. Daylight savings originated as a wartime effort to save fuel and energy. The ritual of changing the clock twice a year to get more daylight has been a practice for more than 50 years, right? I don't have to click on anything anymore. So now this website, USA Facts, which has paid an egregious amount of money to be at the top of Google's algorithm here, Wikipedia, which is paying a lot of money to get at the top of the algorithm, all the advertisers that want to spend money to be on New York Times' pages, I don't need to click into this anymore. I get my answer right at the top of the page, and that is AI driven. And so we're seeing a massive shift when it comes to advertising and SEO. And it's actually going to be pretty monumental for where money flows from advertisements. So we're seeing a shift, and I'm thinking about it for the first time on live. I'm gonna cough again. We're seeing a shift from attention. So advertisers are going to go to where the attention is, right? There's not really space to advertise for stuff like traditionally here, right? So advertisers are going to have to really think about this, and I think it's going to change a lot. AI, you go to ChatGPT and ask it for pieces of information. You don't go to Google so much anymore, or at least we're seeing that's what the numbers are showing. The numbers are showing that most people, 57% of Google searches now result in 0 clicks, meaning all that ad spend and all that SEO spend and all that revenue that Google gets from that is going away. It's disappearing. That ad spend is going to have to go somewhere else. It doesn't just disappear. They're just going to pivot to a different spot. Where it goes, I'm not sure. What it looks like, I don't know. But keep an eye out for a big shift, because that is an egregious amount of money that is now wasted money, like on billboards, for example. All that money from billboards went into SEO, Google search ads, or YouTube ads and stuff like that. That's going to move pretty quickly. So I would keep an eye out for stuff like that, basically. Where does that money end up flowing? Yeah, I just thought it was really interesting. I want to share it with you guys. I also wanted to hear from you guys. Do you guys use AI to search for stuff now? Do you guys not click on links as much from Google? I know even just getting scammed in crypto, I try not to click on links nearly as much. What's your price prediction of Dynex in the near future if the whole market gets better than this? If we see a traditional market that lasts until the end of this year, I think Dynex is a $10 billion project. I know it sounds pretty ludicrous right now, but I think Dynex is a $10 billion project, which would put Dynex's token at $100. I do think, I think it's a $10 billion plus project. If it were to get to the same size as D-Wave, which is one of their competitors, D-Wave's like $2 billion, which would put it up at $20 per token. If they even got to be 10% of the size of their competitor, that'd be $200 million, which would put it up at $2 per token. So I think we're going significantly higher than this in the short term, really. We're about to have Quantum Day for NVIDIA in 6 days, so I think that'll shed light on quantum computing around the same time that Dynex is set to make some pretty crazy announcements. So Perplexity or Grok usually for me. Exactly though, David. AI. People are using AI to search for stuff. And so I think it's definitely worth paying a lot of attention to. Yeah, we're just seeing a shift, a massive, massive shift. And I don't want to dwell on it for too long because I don't have the answers right now. But like, does that mean that all the advertising money goes to these AI players? Or does that mean that all this advertising money goes into social platforms? Because that's where people's attention is. You can't necessarily spend ad money. Or do we see like a dystopian future in which advertisers pay to manipulate the LLMs and the AI models to spit out answers in their favor? You know what I mean? Do we start seeing like ChatGPT, if you search like, hold on, if you search on ChatGPT like what is the best microphone, right? I need a new mic maybe. You search in ChatGPT what's the best mic. Do advertisers start paying to make the LLM put their mic before some of the others? Is that where it goes? And in that case, I don't see how you'd have to like tell us that it's a sponsored thing. I don't know. It's just food for thought, guys. Just something to think about. That money's going to flow somewhere. And AI is it's another industry that's getting disrupted by AI, and at a really quick pace too. And that money is either going to disappear or it's going to go somewhere else. And more likely than not, it's going to go somewhere else because we don't like not spending. But that would be a deflationary pressure on advertisements. Next thing I wanted to showcase to you guys really quickly, this video doesn't have any sound, but kind of how AI works. You might not be interested in it, but I am interested in showing it to you, so you have to deal with it. But we have a large wall of text. Let me see if I can make this a little bit more clean. Yeah. You have a large wall of text, and then the AI chunks out all of that text into words and sections, and it embeds it into a matrix, a multi-dimensional matrix, and then it looks at all the coordinates of that matrix, of each chunk of that text, and then it sees what is similar and what is not similar, and then it asks a bunch of questions and finds the most correlated questions, the most correlated text to those questions. It pulls that, embeds it again, goes over it again for a second time, and it keeps doing this over and over and over and over again to find and dilute it down to one final answer, which is why quantum computing is so powerful for AI, because look at all these steps and all this data and all this decision making it has to go over in order to find a solution that it can give you, right? Because all this is Potter was a highly unusual boy, his least favorite teacher, comma, professor, something. It has to go through all the context, all the text to try and guess who that teacher is, his least favorite teacher. And so it's a lot of decision making, a lot of embedding, a lot of reading, a lot of data cleaning, and then data interpretation. And quantum computers specialize in that. So AI and quantum. That is the most logical solution here. I just wanted to show it to you guys to just give a visual for thinking. Perplexity or Grok, I already answered that. Cool? Cool. Last thing that I had to talk about with you guys today was the Genius Act. It clears the Senate Banking Committee and what it means for stablecoins. So we just saw the Genius Act, which has to do with stablecoins, clear and pass the Senate Banking Committee with a vote of 18 yes, 6 no, which is crazy. That is one of the only bipartisan bills that I've seen passing of late. And so it just is regulations for stablecoins to allow for banks to start using them. So the adoption curve for crypto is going to be speeding up pretty quickly here, because then people can on and off board from crypto easier. This ramp for onboarding into Web3 just got significantly easier if this bill actually passes. They are going to implement pretty strict KYCs, but I don't see necessarily what's wrong with that. I know we don't really like KYC that much, but most people don't actually care to be against KYC. Where was it? The Genius Act invites major commercial firms such as Amazon, Walmart, Twitter, X, and or Facebook, Meta to enter the banking sectors because it lacks provisions under the Bank Holding Company Act, which would prohibit non-financial firms from entering the banking business. So it's getting those e-commerce firms into banking and opening the door for them to use digital currencies, right? Stablecoins first, but digital currencies can now be looking like they'll be accepted or at least implemented into the system a bit. So that's really exciting. And then they put in a little bit of fake information here on Forbes. They said, adding to the controversy, reports have surfaced that Trump family has been in talks to purchase a stake in Binance US, the world's largest crypto exchange. CZ came out and said that's not true. However, I do have to say that CZ is not supposed to be involved with the company at all. So maybe it is true and CZ just doesn't know. I would venture to say that's not an accurate assessment and that what CZ knows is probably true, but CZ came out and said that this was not true. So they're putting in a little bit of FUD, well, it'd be like hopium, but it's not true. Maybe. We'll see. Nobody knows anything. Ooh, Capital One, 3.7% APY. That is pretty low. Yeah, but that's all I had for you guys today. Bitcoin is bouncing. Again, pay attention to it. We want to see it bounce from, well, we want to see oil collapse, right? We don't want to see oil start ticking up. We want to see oil fall below these moving averages. We want to see TLT start breaking up, not breaking down. However, we're getting a lot of selling pressure from countries that are annoyed about the tariffs. But as soon as the Fed cuts rates, TLT starts mooning. And we want to see the NASDAQ come up. We want to see Bitcoin hold sturdy. It's already coming down a little bit more again since I started the live stream. We do not want to see it get rejected here. If Bitcoin gets rejected from the 200-day moving average like this, it's going to be a quick drop down to the low 60s. Okay? We don't want to see Bitcoin get rejected here. That would be blood. That would be so terrifying. You think this one hurt? You think that 30% drop hurt? Wait until you experience a 40% drop. That would be not great. Russia is using Bitcoin and ETH to trade oil with China and India to get around sanctions. Is this the future to get around tariffs also possibly? Oh, that's a good question, David. I don't know. Maybe, but then you got to think about, like, our current administration is very excited about crypto, so I imagine that they would be they'd be paying close attention to it to try and prevent stuff like that, but possible. One last question. Why do you believe Dynex that much, and what makes you that confident? I believe Dynex that much because we've gotten demos of their quantum computing, and they've set records and published papers about their quantum computing, and I understand the implications of quantum computing, and to my knowledge, they're the world's leading quantum computing network, right? So token price goes down, it doesn't really bother me that much because I understand that token price doesn't necessarily reflect the underlying company in the short term. In the long term, I'm under the belief that it will. And Dynex continues to perform, continues to iterate, continues to get better in that realm of quantum computing. I also, one of the main criticisms of Dynex is that it's not true quantum computing, it's simulated quantum computing, and I agree with that, but I think it is an advantageous move, not a drawback, or not something worth criticism. Because right now, let's say theoretically we wanted to pivot the world from traditional computing to quantum computing, right? Let's just speed up the timeline a little bit with this. In order to do that, you need to create a system of quantum computers that can be implemented into everyone's day-to-day life. Now, it's likely not, in my opinion, is it likely that you're going to have a giant billion-dollar quantum computer running your computer here at home? No, that's not going to be ever the case because the stuff like this, streaming is not going to be done on quantum computers. It's just going to stay on regular computers. Watching live streams, regular computers. Absorbing content, doing day-to-day tasks, not going to be done on quantum computers. There's going to be select tasks that get done on quantum computers, and likely what's going to happen is that your computer will either choose to send that task out to a quantum computing cloud network, or we'll figure out a way to make room temperature quantum computers so that you have little chips built into your computer that it switches into occasionally. Right now, the problem is that we can't keep quantum computers stable at room temperature. We need to chill it to 1/4 of the degree that outer space is. These are all just physical barriers that prevent quantum computers from being adopted in the real world. Dynex is using a model that can take a regular computer and simulate a quantum computer inside of it to allow for quantum computation, right? That is very powerful because everyone already has these computers. So people could just download the software, the proprietary software, start running quantum computing simulations in their computer, and we see the widespread adoption of quantum computing significantly faster than if we need to wait for the infrastructure to catch up to where we are, because the infrastructure is already all out there. It just needs to download the programs. So people just need to hear about it and learn about it. And as they break records continuously and as they advance the system, the people will hear about it. It's just a function of time. And I'm willing to wait that time. I know not everyone else is willing to wait that time, hence the chart. But I think that that is very short-sighted. It's like selling Amazon down at $1 because you see it going down and you want to get out and stop losing money. But it's like, would you have enjoyed buying Amazon at $1 back then? I sure as hell would have. It went up to $200, you know? That's a crazy return. And the scale is much, much different. Dynex is $5 million right now. I think it goes up to 10 billion. I think it goes up to 100 billion if they really pull everything off. I think Dynex goes to be worth trillions of dollars if they really do pull it all off and we zoom out 20 years. If we go into the year 2045, I think Dynex is still here, and Dynex is still kicking, and everything's working really nicely. And the future is what I believe it is headed towards, and we continue on the same path. I think Dynex is worth trillions of dollars in market cap, and it's 5 million right now. So that's why I still believe in it, regardless as to what happens with the price, because the opportunity at hand is much bigger than any of us really understand, especially with the announcements that they have coming out right now. AI does much better on quantum computing. They're about to unveil a quantum chip, a room temperature quantum chip that has 1,000 qubits embedded into it. That is insanity. That is millions of times better than the chips that are getting unveiled by the other companies right now. That breaks the internet when they officially showcase the power of it. That breaks the internet. So the encryptions, blah 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 blah. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. Made it for Muscle Day. Hell yeah, it's pie day, baby. Gotta go eat some pie. To be fair, Dynex doesn't reflect the value of the company either way because it's a currency and not an IP, for example. We'll still moon though. Yeah, it is a little bit different than a stock price. However, they are sharing some of those revenues with us. So it does have a little bit of a yield to it. Pretty crazy. Markets ain't rational. Not even for a second. Oh my goodness. I am going to cut the live short again today so that I can give my voice a little bit of time to heal because it is still hurting. I'm not feeling 100% yet, but the allergies do seem to be passing over a little bit here. At least I'm getting used to them. But anyone have any more questions, any more rants they would appreciate me going on? When in doubt, ladies and gentlemen, zoom out a little bit. Understand what you hold and understand the future value propositions. I do want to showcase to you guys Ethereum one more time because I think it is something worth paying attention to. But you go to ETH All-Time History Index. Ethereum launched, okay? Ethereum launched, and in that week, it went down by 95%, right? Would you have enjoyed buying Ethereum at $3? If it meant that it went down 95% to 15 cents? No. But if you had purchased at any point during that, at literally any point during that, you would be up an egregious amount of money. I'll rewind after my next work call, missed the first 3 quarters. Yeah, C90, we missed you. I know, it did the pop, drop, and lock it. Literally the exact same thing, C90. It did the pop, drop, and lock it. Everything seems to do that. Skip over the first 2 minutes of the live stream though, because I didn't have my mic on, so save yourself some of that time. Speaking of time, it is your most valuable asset. Hopefully it was worth investing into this today. I really appreciate all of you guys sticking around with me for so long. I do want to showcase an overlay of something that people are showing online. So we have Ethereum making the high here, falling, trying to build, and then having a massive fall off here. If you go look at Bitcoin last cycle back here, people are comparing it to this, where they had a little bit of a big run up and then a huge fall off and then the crazy spike. Time is a little bit different this time. The time in the cycle is different. The economic condition is not that different though. So if you are to believe that the economic condition matters more than the 4-year cycle does, then you can see why this would make sense for it to start skyrocketing shortly after the Fed. After Trump gets his way, the Fed cuts rates and starts printing money again to ease the tight conditions that he is inducing in the market. And he's already said it. He said he doesn't care about a recession. He wants the Fed to cut rates. So I will see you guys on Monday. Make sure that you all take care of yourself this weekend and don't get liquidated. All right. Peace.